Greetings, Clausewitz here, and welcome to another episode of ClauseTalk. So, I'm sorry that I was so inactive lately, like the last 2.5 months or so. It was pretty harsh for me, like often. This is like it's a theme which goes through the whole history of my channel. Like, I don't have the time, and it's hard for me to find time and everything and to fit everything together in my daily life. But I think actually I can change something this year so that I can have more time working on videos. We will see how this will work out, but I'm pretty sure this actually will improve it. But yeah, now I'm back and I'm doing stuff. And this is also the reason why I choose ClauseTalk and not the next Landsknecht video, because ClauseTalk is much easier to produce for me. And this is also like an issue. Now I actually, for my other videos about history and so, I actually write scripts and really like decent scripts and actually go into researching, not more necessarily, but of course because I'm writing the script and I have to kind of make sure I mention everything, and then I look up things again, I think this through, or maybe I question it and make it another script and so on and so on. So this kind of actually drags it more out. It's more production type or pre-production or whatever you can call it I have to do. But I now have to do, because I did it for my last videos and I think those videos actually turned out pretty well. So I actually want to keep this up, so therefore I have to write the scripts, and it's just easier to write the scripts in the end, because the video is not as long, I can plan the video better, and also the editing is much easier and so on and so on. Actually the writing of the script is not as bad as editing. I'm not a big fan of editing a video, and so this actually it has positives and negative sides, but I basically need more time in summary in the end. Maybe not so much time more or so, but yeah. So the point is that therefore it's harder for me to keep up sometimes. But yeah, so it's very easy to produce because I'm just sitting here talking about shit. And yeah, and this time I want to talk about my flags I have here. This is something I said in my first episode. I want to talk about stuff like this because it's more off-topic stuff, and this is what ClauseTalk is for. So, my flags. Why I have them there and what I think about it, basically. This is an interesting topic actually, because often I get many reactions to those flags, more to the EU flag than to the Prussian one. And yeah, if you don't know, I have this Prussian flag here and above the EU flag, which you see mostly when I make my history videos, because I'm standing then at the whole perspective is different. But the thing is that most reactions are actually negative to my EU flag, and even to a point that people disagreeing with me because I have the EU flag, disliking a video about a historical topic because of the EU flag, or because I'm supporting EU, or because I'm anti-Brexit, or because I'm this and this. And this are things people just assume. I actually don't engage those comments so much. It's not that I come up and say, oh, you discuss Brexit or EU with them, or it's just an EU flag, first of all. This is what I want to say here. It's just the flag which hangs on this wall, and this is just a piece of cloth. I mean, people of course can have their opinions and stuff like this and dislike also my video because they think it looks shit and I have those flags there or whatever. But this is just, I want to put those things out there. First of all, those are flags for decoration. Nothing more, and it's just a flag. Doesn't mean that I don't know what those people think, that I attack them or whatever, because sometimes people get extremely aggressive in the comments. Not all of them. Some people are actually saying, oh, I can't stand this flag, but I like your point or like the topic. And this is, like I said, this is fine. You can of course disagree, dislike because of such things, and why not? And it's actually gotten to a point where it's quite funny, because sometimes people come up disagreeing with the point I made in the video about something in history, and then basically the counter argument contains the EU and the EU flag, and which is quite strange. And sometimes it's just an insult against me because of the flag or the EU in general, what they think of the EU. And so why I choose those flags actually. Like I said, first of all, decoration, because in my earliest videos, like my first three ones, so you actually see there isn't a flag there, and there's just this white wall, and everything looks shit, by the way. The whole lighting, everything is bad at this point in my videos, so don't watch them. But the thing is, you can see they are not the flags, they are not here yet. And a colleague of mine actually was suggesting this because she was saying, "Oh, it doesn't look so good. Why don't you have something in the background? Just you standing in front of a wall. Can't you just put your swords there? Or can't you just put some flags or so there?" And I was thinking it's actually a pretty good idea, because I like flags in an aesthetic way and in an interesting, as in a way of like I'm interested in flags, how they work, especially in historical times, because there are actually a lot more meanings, a lot more rules to flags in different contexts, different countries, because they are actually a pretty important part in human history in forms of communication and helping out in day-to-day life as symbols in some sort. And we still use symbols today, but more in like, yeah, a street sign way, not so much in flags. But for different reasons, flags were very often used for this in history, and this is also the reason why I'm actually very interested. And also to know flags in history can be an advantage when you look into history, because you will find those flags again in some contexts, and then you can actually recognize them. And sometimes you can even understand the flag without learning what it meant, because you know the rules in this context of a flag, so you can then assume certain points. I mean, I have like some maps, some historical maps of Germany here, of the German lands, and sometimes I see flags, I'm not sure which to which city or to which country or whatever, what it means. But at certain things, like how it's shaped or what kind of symbols, I can assume like, okay, it's meant for a city-state, or it's meant for like something, the bishop is ruling, I forgot how it's called, so or it's a regular law, regular county or stuff like this. So this is why this can be quite useful. But like, of course, today it's not so much. And this is something, when I'm interested in something, I actually have a lot of fun in it, and therefore I tend to like things I'm interested in. Not completely, but I also try to just understand things. So, and I thought flags are very fitting because, like I said, in history, flags are very important, or were very important. And I was thinking which flags I could use. And I was really thinking first of all of the Prussian flag, because it just fits the channel. I mean, I call myself Clausewitz, which was Karl von Clausewitz, a Prussian military officer and military theorist, and basically one of the first, which is like, or considered one of the first, or one of the modern first, of the modern ones. And also, I live in Berlin, which was the capital of Prussia, and all of this, I thought it was quite the homage and works well with the channel. I also like, just love how this flag looks. Only thing I don't like is that the eagle is not in the center. It's a little bit to the left. This is what actually some people get wrong when they like manufacture this flag. They put the eagle just in the center, directly in the center, which is not right. Actually, the historical version is a little bit to the left. But I don't like it. I would love to see it in the center, but this is okay. I just like all the other stuff, and I'm just quite interested in Prussia actually, because it was a very military state. So this is also, I thought, fitting pretty well. And then I was thinking, which flag could I choose next? Because I needed a second one, because from the space I have here on the wall. And I was thinking of which one could I use. And sometimes it's problematic to use the historical flag, because like some state at some point in history like did something horrible to somebody. And if like somebody's from the opinion he is like a descendant of a group, and then they see a flag which this flag supposedly did something horrible to them, then they just hate the people towards it. And this is just nationalism working, because even if somebody did somebody horrible to people, the flag has nothing to do with it. The state at this specific point has to do something with it, but not anymore if the state still exists, and even the people are all dead by now. This is a big point. And even if they are dead, they're probably not in power anymore and stuff like this. So this is just something I pretty actually don't like, but I was concerned about this because I just don't want people to put away immediately. And well, of course, want to also attract viewers out of different reasons. But I was thinking which flag could I use for this, which I like, and I think is not disadvantaged to like presenting myself here. And I thought of the EU flag, which is maybe a bit funny thinking of it, but I choose the EU flag because out of different reasons. And those reasons are, first of all, I like the look of it. It works pretty well in the look of it with the Prussian flag, because it's like blue, it's more of like a cold color, or more of a dark color. It's not so bright, not so colorful in itself, because it's just two colors in summary. Pretty much like the Prussian flag, even though the Prussian flag has some red and some blue and so in it, but very slightly. The point is that I pretty much liked how this looks together. And also, I am in the EU. I'm part of the EU, obviously. So I live in Berlin. And therefore, this fits again. Prussia also is a European country, or was, because it doesn't exist anymore. So also fits very well. And I talk a lot about European history, actually, even though I don't want to specialize on it. I want to go to Asia and talk about Asia. I want to talk about Africa. I want to talk about America. I want to talk about all those things. But I just thought I just definitely started with European history. So also this fits very well. And another thing is actually kind of a political reason. I think we should have something like a European state. I don't think the EU is right now a very good system. I actually think that all the states have not good systems right now. But my channel is not so much about what I think about our today's politics and how I would see it changed or how I would change it and what I support and what not. This was just a political statement in the sense of I think we should have something like a European nation. And it doesn't have something to do with Brexit and everything like this. And like I said, I don't talk in this channel about that. And this is hanging on a wall for decoration. I mean, also this Prussian flag could have different meanings. Not only that I like Prussia or think it fits or think it looks good, it could also mean that I am a Nazi. Actually, yes, this could mean this because many Nazis think that Prussia was like an ancestry or superior state or something which we should go back to because they were the better Germans. Those are opinions in like neo-Nazi circles which exist. And often neo-Nazi or nationalists, extreme nationalists, tend to laugh like the history of their own country and think that this is superior or whatever. So this could, especially in Germany, be seen as I am being a Nazi. This is not something I got on YouTube because YouTube is more internationally, but I have a lot of German viewers. But this you can see in there. It could also mean that I just like black and white stuff on my wall. I mean, this is quite, I mean, there are people like which are collecting like artifacts, even Nazi artifacts, which are not Nazi, because they just think the style looks cool. This is so much to consider, and this is what I always say when regarding history research, that so many things, or this is why I argued against art as evidence. There are so many points which we can't know yet why people did something. So this is hard to follow. This is the same thing. If you just look at my flags, you can't know why I put them there. And the easiest assumption is actually I just put it there out of decoration because I like it. Because I never talk about modern day politics in my videos. And I don't think that's forward. My channel description is I talk about military history and theory. And basically this is it. I talk in my channel trailer about how I talk about military history and theory. Of course, there's also history politics involved and so on, but I don't talk about today's politics. Of course, basically yesterday is part of history. I agree with that. But obviously I focus much more on like hundreds of years of history, like which lays more hundreds of years back in history. And the thing is, I don't comment on like the event which is not concluded. And basically Brexit and all this stuff and how the EU should work is not concluded. And I don't want to talk about those things, how this should work, because it's more of my political opinion, which is a big discussion. I I don't have the time, even the motivation, because I love to talk about history. I want to talk about history here. And people often assume that I like be anti-Brexit. I just support the EU no matter what. I'm just pro-EU and just whatever, or I'm a communist, which was also said before, and yeah, this is it. And some even people like saying to me why I don't have a German flag on there. Don't know which are people those, but basically people which I assume think that I should be more nationalistic and not so much EU-ish or whatever. So the point is that these are the reasons why I have them here. And yeah, it's quite a political view, but my political view is that we should form as all humans like one government at some point, like a global government. It doesn't mean that it should look like the UN looks now, or like the EU looks now, or like Germany looks now, or like Britain looks now, or like the US looks now. And like I said, I actually think that all those states don't have good systems, and I would change them if I could. But this is not so much the point. And of course, you are free, or everybody is free to say this looks shit what I have there, and that they don't like my videos because they don't like the EU and have a flag of there. This is fine, basically. This is your freedom you can apply. But also, I probably won't engage comments when it's about the EU, because like I said, if it's about something briefly, I try to comment or to reply to all my comments, but sometimes it's just not worth it, especially if I just get blatantly insulted by just statements which are so short and wrong, like, oh, you see, you're a communist, fuck off. This is so strange. But I won't delete those comments either, because I'm not a fan of deleting stuff. Like I said, we should have free opinions and those liberties and should use them. And therefore, not should use them, but should have them, and therefore use them when we want to. And therefore, I will keep it all there. But I just want to shed some light on it. If you're interested in this, of course, why I have it there and what this actually means about me. And yeah, I actually thinking about doing other flags in here, because at a certain point I would like to have like all flags of history on my wall, which would be cool. But on the other hand, a lot of flags. And the thing is, this is also an issue, like, would consider I putting in like a Third Reich flag on there, because it's part of history and everything. And actually agree, I would love to put this flag at some point on my wall. But this gets actually very, yeah, what is said. This is a very sensitive topic, especially from a German point of view, which I don't agree with, but which can get me in trouble. Actually, even so, in legal trouble, potentially, because it's actually legal in Germany to show those like Nazi symbols. And I could argue I do art here and I educate. So basically I'm doing stuff about education and art, or the video is the art basically. Therefore it should be an exception, because we have like this exception law that in art and for education you can show the symbols. But I'm not so sure about this, if this will work in my conditions here. Maybe there would be some other interpretation of a judge about this. And this is something I don't want to risk. This drives me mad, because this is just so stupid, such immensely stupid. But the point is, I actually plan to improve like my studio here with shifting the perspective, because that I basically stand in the corner here, have on my right side, if you look at me on my right side, or the right side when you look at me, those two flags, and on the left side I would have two other flags. And I was thinking about which one. I actually have one here which I plan to use as a UK flag, so the Union Jack. I also have US flag there, but a historical US flag. So basically like the first one, which was after the independence was not announced, but after independence was actually won. Then it established their flag. So I have this one. I think it's very fitting, because they are both. This is really a historical flag, the US one, but the Union Jack is basically both. It's the historical and the modern flag. They work very well together, and I think that UK and US are pretty nice land. It's a nice land to live in there, and so on and so on. And I think that it had a great important impact on humankind, especially in the sense of what I think which is good, or what I like about, or what I want to have in such a world I live in. But the point is that I was thinking about this, and therefore but I have to like put some metal bars at my wall, which needs to be drilled in, and then I could maybe hang it down there, so I can actually like scroll it up, or just put it up there when I need to open the door, stuff like this. So this was also I had to keep in mind. But I'm also not so sure anymore if the colors would fit, because I would have a lot of white, blue and red, especially on the left side, and a lot of like dark and cold colors on the right. Maybe this actually looks good, but don't have a feeling for it. So this was something I actually put more on my to-do list than did it immediately. But I have the flags already, and using basically UK flag here, the Union Jack, for covering my seat. But the thing is, yeah, this is why I have those flags in here. And this is a bit about my political perspective on it. And yeah, so much for this. And by the way, I got also some positive things about Europe. Somebody was saying like, oh yeah, I think we should form a European nation, and glad you think this well. Which is also pretty big assumption that I think this, by the way. But then I, of course, often agreed with those people, because it's easy to reply. Like, yeah, I think this as well. Nice to see you. So something like this. And like I said, sometimes even I have people who are arguing I don't like this flag and I can't stand it, but I want to watch the video, or sometimes even convince people, just watch the video or listen to the video. It's not about flags, not about the EU. And if you're interested in this, and it's just sad that people actually just disliking a video because they see a flag they don't like. But on the other hand, people are free to dislike what the hell they want. And yeah, but I won't put it down. Because first of all, it's my channel, I choose it more out of my perspective. It was before Brexit was a very big topic, especially in international circles, and therefore I don't put it down. Just that I've, by random something which pissed people off, or a lot of people, because they were very much engaged in this whole topic. But yeah, so much for this. And I actually plan to make a video this week about a historical video. Can't really decide which one. I want to continue my Landsknecht video series, but on the other hand, I also want to make a video about crossbows again. Not so much how they work, but what is like the advantages of crossbows and maybe the disadvantages as well. I have to think about this if I do both things in one video. But yeah, so I definitely will do another video this day. So hopefully you can't wait to see it. And yeah, so the more you know, and hopefully see you soon.